they help you to learn total surrender, and then they bring you on the right path of prayers and spiritual practices. And the last thing we liked also is that to achieve this goal supreme at all of us where we are, if we want to start from there, then the idea which Swamiji presented was, see God in the world. Like, keep doing whatever you are doing. You cannot suddenly stop your activities. But if you see God in every action and try to spiritualize every action, then that itself will be a big turn in your life. But definitely it's a big struggle, definitely easier said than done. So it requires forbearance to do this continuously. And Swamiji, one question from our group. Can I ask the question now?
Yes.
Okay. That we always listen all these lofty ideas in the lectures and everything, but all of us face a simple obstacle, that is how to conquer your sleep while doing your regular spiritual practices. Thank you.
You know how to conquer sleep. Only thing is, you have to apply that in this matter. You conquer sleep many times, all of us. If something quite interesting is going on, then we don't sleep. That it is a known thing that if something that interests you is going on, then the time just flies and you forget that it is well past your sleeping hours. So at that time, how does one conquer sleep? Or something that you have to do somehow, it is question of life and death, then you forget everything else and do it. May not be question of life and death, but something quite important. Then you conquer many things like hunger, sleep, some addictions and so forth. We can conquer all these things in those situations. It is a few years ago, I was going to Puerto Rico, and then my flight from here I had to change in Florida, that Fort Lauderdale. From the flight from here, it somehow got changed, cancelled, this, that, and then somehow we were running, myself and some other passengers, that what's going to happen. We forgot that we didn't have our breakfast or anything, that no tea or breakfast. We were worried which flight are we going to catch and what will happen. And then somehow, that some flight we got, then at Fort Lauderdale, the connecting flight was gone. And that airliner was saying, no, we don't have any flight till this time. Said, no, well, you have to see, arrange, if it is. And then they looked into that and then arranged with some other airliner. And a lot of things happened. I am fast forwarding. It is, what happened then was, since I left from here at 5 in the morning, and then I reached Puerto Rico at about 8:30. The time for the meeting was about 7:30. And then I had called and told that I am at 8:30, I will be reaching there, and then straight I will come there. So I did that. Straight I went to the meeting, people were still waiting, and then the lecture and all. And then after 9:30 or 10 o'clock, I realized that I have not eaten anything. I had not winked, no sleep, no tea. So how did I conquer all that? No tea, not even forget chilies. So it is, see, I did not remember any of these things. Because it was certain other things were more important. So why do we fall asleep while meditating, you know now. It is not that important for us. It is while studying scriptures, why do we fall asleep? Not so important, you know. It is when we start feeling the importance of it, then we will not sleep. Now the follow-up question will come up, how shall we start feeling importance of it? uh, well, we need to do some practice for that. That sugar example that Swamiji told in the morning, first you have to force yourself. In the story of Latu Maharaj, Swami Adbhutananda, that he was telling, Adbhutananda, he himself, Adbhutanandaji narrates about how he had first struggled to conquer sleep. So, with that struggle, with those efforts, gradually the mind gets trained into it. It is not uncommon that a person feels as sleepy, dizzy and drowsy while meditating, and sometimes falls asleep, starts snoring. It is, we say at that time now that anahata dhvani is coming. So it is, but unstruck sound, that is a big spiritual term. So it is, but that is not really why it is happening. Because when we are meditating, we are trying to channel our thinking, our understanding on a new path. Our nervous system is used to go towards this sense objects and all that it understands. That path it is familiar to walk on, so doesn't get much tired. But this is a new, unfamiliar, and also an upward evolutionary track, and therefore the brain very quickly starts feeling tired, dizzy, drowsy, and falls asleep. It is known in the obstacles to meditation, the 4 obstacles described in many Vedanta scriptures. One of them is told that the mind falls asleep. But we have to keep on practicing it. Whenever you, that remedy is also told like that, laye sambodhayet chittam. That when it laya means it starts falling asleep, wake it up again. Wake it up again, don't give it up. Okay, let's fall asleep, let it fall, and then we will bring out some scriptural, supports to us. After all, what is the use of meditating in that? If you are falling asleep, no use wasting time. So, sleep, and then meditate again after your sleep is done. Again, you may get up, and then again start meditating, again you may fall asleep. It is, one has to be determined, Determination is an important, necessary quality for getting over these things. We know that we have the capability. The example I gave from my experience about, I didn't sleep, didn't do anything, didn't eat, all those things, they were not even matters of concern, and this has happened to me several times, and I am sure that it has happened to each of you quite a few times in life. So you know that you have the capability to overcome sleep. Now that capability needs to be applied to meditation. So the tool is there, but it needs to be put into use here. Sometimes we have the tool and it is dedicated to something, but the same tool can be used for something else. We may say that no, that we use only then and not here. That is, you can use it wherever you need it. So, if we want to conquer this, we have to use that tool, feel that this is something very important in life. That what if you don't, why it is so important in life? If you don't get to God realization, suffering is inevitable result. You have to take it. There is no choice about it. You have to take it. You will miss all the peace in life. Do you want that? No peace. That will be the result. Inevitable result. You will have to take it. So if you don't want to be at loss of peace, if you don't want to suffer all the time, then you have to learn to connect yourself to this goal supreme. And that is therefore so important. And if the goal is so important, then our going towards is also so very important. And then your sleep will be pushed back. Yes, I have to go forward. I have to move on. I have to do it. You will overcome that abnormal sleep. Some sleep required for the physical well-being, that is okay. One has to take it. One has to get that much sleep. But that doesn't mean that we should keep on falling asleep. Just remembering, no, I should have enough sleep. Exactly remembering when you sit for meditation is not a good sign. So, otherwise you were not remembering that you needed to sleep, but sit for meditation and then that suddenly the light flashes. Oh, I didn't have enough sleep. Not only that, I might have had enough sleep today. I start projecting about tomorrow. Tomorrow I have a very busy day, so therefore let me take an extra nap today and all that. We know how our own mind cheats us. So it is now he will give some better answer to this.
There can be no better answer than this, that we need to have effort. So generally we don't, I don't think anyone who has this problem of who falls asleep during meditation thinks that, oh, let me sleep now. But in spite of himself or herself, they fall asleep, and really the only solution, as Swami Yogatmananda has said, is to put extra effort and to struggle, and you fail and again you struggle like that. It has to go on, and finally, as they say, you will surely conquer that. What is Swami Adbhutanandaji's that thing, Swamiji? Can you describe that, what he said? How did he conquer?
Adbhutanandaji, he heard from Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna scolded him, and then he took it to heart. Not in the sense that, well, what my guru told and like that, now I am kind of gone. He took it to his heart that now he must conquer sleep. He must. And then he started keeping awake at night, splashing water on his face, getting out, and then walking, again sitting, and then gradually, after some years of practice, then he could conquer it. With that, a person of that tremendous determination, that kind of dedication to Sri Ramakrishna, that person also required some time to do it. With our very feeble enthusiasm and kind of shaky faith, we may require a little more time, but it will come.
So, Namaskar, Swamiji. Group B, so we talk about two things mainly. It's all about us we were very focused about our dream and if we should share our dream or not share it, and we will develop more into that. And then about the 4 yogas. So for the dream, spiritual dreams, whatever means to us as spiritual dreams, we can feel like, first the pros, why should we share our dreams, right? There's a Western views and the Eastern views. So Western views, you have seen so many books published about dreams and also about, conversation with God. And so should we believe into that, or are these people just trying to share what they have experienced with us? And in that case, if we really believe in those dreams, and if those dreams are wise and really God-oriented, it can also enhance our faith and bring us to our bhakti yoga. If we truly believe that the dreams are really true. And as Swami mentioned, is that if the God dream is really true, you just know it. It's just 100% or 150% sure that it is true. And the cons for that, why we shouldn't share in this case also, like Swamiji said also, is that, we should only maybe select a few people to talk about and wise people, not to share with everyone, because it can be premature to share the dream about God to everyone. Maybe try to meditate more on those dreams before we do anything with it. First, to make sure that it's real first. And then also, if we share those dreams with some people who are atheists or don't understand it at all about God, they may think that we are crazy. And then they will say, you need medication? No? So be very careful about what you're sharing with other people. And then also, I think the third item here is to be cautious what you're teaching your children, especially about the dream, because they may take it as reality and just think about it and share it with the younger children during playtime, and then they may be subject of making fun of, because other children may not understand where they came from. So that is about the dream. Should we share it? It's not sharing it. And then I'm going to go next to the 4 yogas, and how it came to in the group discussion was when we read a book, like 300 pages book, for example, each point may be very we can understand well each point, but how do we really integrate each point, into our life? And the 4 yogas are very something that maybe that it's the discipline, right? Some people may be more bhakti yoga. They just love God and then try to meditate. And then other people are more like karma yoga. They like to work. And some tendencies are more natural to us than others. But like Swamiji said, that, we're referring to the example of the forcing the sugar onto a patient that have liver problem, then we need to also try to integrate other type of yoga within us too. So that will enhance better our experience. And lastly, I think that the 4 yogas, how we can integrate them, and then also look at any one of those yoga and then come up to the full divine consciousness, meaning that, for example, try to get rid of our small self through love, and then and then also to look at everything like God, like seeing everything like God, the birds, the mountain, all the insect, everything is God. That's our conclusion. Thank you.
Group C. Where is the question? No question.
Oh, question.
Question mark, sir?
Okay.
Was there any question in your group? No.
Yes.
All were resolved, is it not?
Well, the question was
Okay. Tell the question from there. Question was about which question to ask.
Yeah, there was about a question, but I tried to answer that. But I like to have your opinion on that one. Is that as we go through and read the books, each point seems very clear, but how do we integrate all of them together?
When there are many things that to be practiced and how to integrate them, so I think we should go point by point. So we try to integrate as many things in our life as possible. So we may not be able to do all the things. So practice one thing and make it a part and go for another, because you need to have all those qualities. So all said and done cannot be just practiced at once, if that. So we go slowly, one by one. Or which we find that it is more practicable and more we can do it. Regarding the yoga being practiced, you are inclined to one type of yoga and yet you have to do all the yogas. So for that also, actually karma yoga is not that easy. Always karma yoga is very often becomes deceptive, in the sense we work and we try to gain that some recognition. In karma yoga there is no sense of recognition, that I did so much, but people don't realize that. People don't thank us. People are it is a so thankless job. When we say that, it's totally against karma yoga. It's not karma yoga at all. We all did karma, and it's binding. It's a bondage. So karma yoga will be, you don't seek anything. People will not understand. Only God will understand. When we work in such a way that nobody will know, only God will know. You don't know. God knows everything. That you don't have to even get the recognition of God even. You just do and then forget. Just it's hidden. That is real karma yoga. Somebody was painting a beautiful bird in the ceiling up in the house, as in the Christian stories there. And people said, why are you giving so much time and labor to make beautiful birds in the ceiling and it will be hidden there? So he said, people will not see, but God will see. So that type of attitude becomes really karma yoga. To make our yoga as a karma yoga, we need to have introspection and always seeing our mind, as Swami says, mind often it deceives us, it cheats us. So that time we need to ask ourselves whether do I seek any recognition, any thanks, any approval by the people, or any sort of appreciation from the public. If anything comes like that, it's not karma yoga. To have that right understanding, we need to have this quietening, calming of the mind. And during meditation, when our mind is calm, then we understand, oh, no, I was just, why I thought that people should have recognition. So it was not karma yoga. So meditation helps to practice karma yoga also. And we have all the things, so those all needs to be worked. Even Swami Vivekananda said, Sri Ramakrishna's life was a harmony of all four yogas. So if we don't practice all four yogas, we are not really trained in the mold of Sri Ramakrishna. Followers of the Vedanta, as practiced and taught by Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, Holy Mother, will have to practice all the yogas. For others, one of them is sufficient to take you across the Maya, to give you realization and reach your supreme goal. But that will be, as the follower of Sri Ramakrishna, that will be incomplete and one-sided. We want to have balanced growth of our personality, in which all the four yogas will be fructified in our life, and we'll be very loving and kind, we'll be working selflessly, we'll be meditating. Wonderful Swami Vivekananda said, grow the vegetable in the morning and sell that in the market, and come and read Chandi and give talk and mend the shoes, like that. In Bengali there is saying, right from mending the shoes to reading the scripture. So that sort of balanced life, which will do everything that's possible, that's the aim of harmony of yoga and practice of all four yogas. As far as thinking that you are a karma yogi type, but still you find that if we're forcing meditation, we don't really force in that way, because this meditation propensity, something is there in everyone. All four yogas are latent in every person. They will have loving mind, they will try to concentrate, and they will like to work, and they will like to love. But one of them is prominent in our life, and that impels us. So nothing is there that we have to artificially force on us. Only we develop, that little bit is there, we try to develop that. Thank you. Yes.
So, in the Western world where we live here, is that we have taught, if you do your work, you have to promote yourself. You don't promote yourself, then you don't get further in your career. How do you apply Karma Yoga in that context?
I'll request Swamiji to say, but what I feel is we have to differentiate between our spiritual practice and work culture here. So you even promote here with a view that I am doing this is for to suit the society here and for my job. But in the heart of hearts, I know that I was just working as a service to God. So you don't take it really from inside, but you just show it to suit to the society. Otherwise, you will not get good job. You say that you did this, but in the heart of hearts, it was all being done by some higher power. You are just instrument. All is done by God's power given to you. So that little discrimination, and then of course you have to show that, yes, I have done this, but you don't feel that you have done that. You feel that God has made you do, like Sri Ramakrishna's training of a rich man's servant, and that a servant in a rich man's house. This is my house, this is my this, but in the heart of hearts, she knows that is not her house is in a village. Like that, I have achieved this, I can do this, you say, but in the heart of hearts, you know that I can do nothing, it's God only, if He wants, He can do through me. So that way, I think we have to balance this. These both things have to be balanced. What are some other answers for this?
Well, please forgive me to be really brutal frank about it. It is because really I have grown tired of hearing this excuse for last so many years, not only here. Here it is paraphrased or prefaced with this, that in the Western culture, it is human nature everywhere similar. In India also I face this question very often, that we have to promote ourselves, otherwise our careers will not grow. We will be always languishing in the back. That is my response to that is, when I see many great people on the worldly forefronts, I mean, I am not talking about spirituality, they have come to the forefront, not just because of promoting themselves. They were promoted by their work, by their qualities, by what actually was put out by them, rather than self-promoting. And if you can look at it from the other direction as well, that everybody really tries to promote oneself, but do so many people, I remove that everybody, but so many people try to promote themselves. Do they all succeed in making their careers great? No. That doesn't mean, it doesn't work like that. It has really no connection with you are promoting yourself. It doesn't really work like that. If you don't promote yourself, still your work will automatically promote you. And if you are trying to promote yourself without your work backing it, nothing is going to happen. Now let us come to the spiritual benefits. If you are promoting yourself and your work is also really like that, you will get probably career-wise, you will go ahead, but you will miss the spiritual benefits. You will not go to the spiritual path. And if you are not promoting yourself, but you are doing good work, that will also promote you irrespective of whether you are promoting yours. Your work is what is the important thing in this, not whether you were promoting yourself or whether that is just a factor that does not count at all. I have seen so many cases where people tried to promote themselves. They were pushed far back just because actually they were trying to force themselves ahead. People get disgusted and they are pushed back. And I have seen also so many people, nothing to do with spirituality, they are not spiritual at all, but they were hard workers, they had many good qualities. Without self-promotion, they rose very high in their professions, in their actually, the people acknowledged them as great in their fields without any self-promotion. So it is really does not count at all. It is like this, that somebody succeeded in some job, and then that person also was not a very tall person, a short person. So it is like saying that unless you are short, you cannot reach a high stage in your life. So let me reduce my height, because that person was short and he became so high in his professional careers. Did his shortness contribute to it? It did not contribute anything there, because you have the persons who are tall and still rose high in their professional careers. So, similarly, self-promotion counts for nothing. We just try to delude ourselves by that. That is my opinion. I know many do not share this opinion, but somehow that is why I prefaced it, that I will be brutal frank. I don't really agree with this assertion that self-promotion really helps. No. And it really is detrimental as if you think of spiritual life. Even if you don't think of spiritual life, it is certainly not helpful. If you think of spiritual life, it is certainly detrimental. So, my suggestion is better not do it.
In our group, what we did was that everybody shared ideas that were important for them while Swami was having the presentations during the morning. So I'm just going to read the statements that came up. So one is, everything you do, offer it to God. So, and that's when we talk about what Swami brought about constantly thinking of God, that sometimes, as Swami said, we think, but how can I be constantly thinking of God? I will not be doing my work. And Swami brought so nice examples. Well, you have to take breaks sometimes. And still, actually it reminded me now that once Swami Yogatmananda was saying that it is like, he said, a lady was saying to him, oh my gosh, Swami, I have to do the taxes, and April 15 is coming, and I'm doing my work, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I haven't done it. And then she went back to her work, and oh my gosh, I have to do the taxes. And that's very interesting, because it's something like that. I mean, you are doing your work, and all of a sudden, oh, thanks God. And then you say your mantra, and then you go back and you continue, and then, oh, so that is possible to be done. And as Swami said, yes, it's possible to do. So another point that came was about staying away from the 7 deadly sins that Swami also discussed, the importance of saying our mantra. And then keep the weaknesses with us instead of declaring it outside. So as, Holy Mother said, see your own faults, so we have to work with them ourselves. And something else that came up is the idea of you take one step towards God, He takes 10 steps towards you. And that is very reassuring, that yes, I take one step and God will take 10 steps to come to me. The no gossip and no complaining, which is a tendency that we have. So, and then the unwavering faith, regardless of how difficult the situation is. And we talk a lot about grace, and I will bring that later on too. That we have to be patient in our spiritual life, and Swami just gave the example of Swami Yogatmananda about, it took him years to conquer the problem of falling asleep while he was doing the meditation. And there are things that happen in our lives that are like signs, but sometimes we are not aware of them. And an example that came up was like when Newton was sitting under the tree, and the apple fell. It's not that was the first time that an apple fell on the ground, and it was probably not the first time that he saw that apple falling on the ground. But that was the moment, and it was like, oh. So sometimes the signs are there, but we are not aware, and all of a sudden, oh, we are like, it like clicks. And yes, a question that could come is like, but then we also need the grace of God in order to see the signs. So the grace of God is all across. We need to have the grace of God for anything that we do. And actually, we don't do anything. It's God through us. So the grace is all across. Also, running after worldly affairs. Something that came up was like, in the young generation, about how we, not we, I'm not part of the young generation, but something that came in the group, as part of like, running after, I have to do this, I have to do that, and I have to run to class, and then this have to come up. So she said how it's important to not wait until your old age and said, man, I wasted so much time. So just, be aware of that. So it's related to that. As it's a decision to take up on the spiritual path, we make a decision to follow the path of worldly life. We make that decision. So it's only us that make the decision to go one way or the other way. So we cannot blame nobody else for that. And the self-effort is important. So the spiritual practices, the discipline needs to happen. And again, I will not say that is the balance, because it's not to say, okay, God, you do this and then I do that. It doesn't work like that. But we have to do our part. If we don't develop the discipline, we will not be ready for the time when God said, okay, the time has come. So we have to do our part. And it's difficult because, as again, talking about falling asleep in meditation, and I can identify with that completely. But again, it's the challenge. You have to keep it on, and you have to stick to it, and you have to continue and continue and continue to do that. So the discipline is very, very important. And someone said, well, God is ultimately in our heart. And it's true. Yes, we keep looking outside, but ultimately is in our heart. And yes, to see that, we need God's grace. So the significance of silence also came up. And it's not just silence that I'm not talking, because I can be mute, but if my brain is, 100 miles per hour, I could be having a whole script, a whole movie can go through my mind. So it's that, the silence is not just not verbal, not vocal, it's just the silence. We have to silence our mind. The present moment is the only moment that we have. That came up too. So at the moment of the questions, this is question, but it's really like comment or something that we expect that you too will develop. So one is, so part of the discussion was like, gee, but how much we have to undergo to realize God? Yikes! So it was just the discussion, and then because something that was discussed was like someone, brought that for Ramana Maharishi, it was just like that. And that, remember also, St. Paul, he was just like that. But for us, it's not like that. So we were just talking about, and again, it's God's will. And remember, once that someone asked Holy Mother, like, it was a question, but why, can we just, get things like right away? Why do we have to go through? Exactly, why not like that? And Holy Mother said, but who knows God's will? Who knows which is God's will? We just don't know. And we cannot pretend to know that either. It is what it is. So, but that was part of the discussion that we would like you to elaborate. And then also there was a story that that was brought in more than one talk, Swamiji, a long time ago. And I think it was Naradas. It was about 3 people that wanted to know when they were going to have illumination. I think the last one was like 5,000 years, and he was very happy. So if you can just make the story, because we were talking about the story, but I don't remember. So if you can just elaborate on those 2 simple points, thank you.
Regarding when will we have, how much we have to do for God realization, why God gives us suffering and why He keeps us so much difficult position when we are His children, why we have to suffer in this world? Why doesn't He just give purity? He could do it. So for this, Swami Brahmananji has answered, God could really give in an instant that realization, but there is joy in this self-practice. And slowly you, as today also Virajananji also said, that you conquer every step, you move every step, and then there is that joy. You'll be deprived of that joy. And again, another is, if you get without practice, you won't really value it. It means you may not be able to keep it, even God realization or in a certain lower level. It has to be retained and practiced. All those great monks, you see, they had God realization, and again, like Ramana Maharshi you told, he had realization that he is not the body. After that, how much he had to practice tapasya. In the cave, mosquitoes biting, many years he practiced, because that experience has to be solidified, has to be retained. Otherwise you just have experience and it may go, you may change. The Maya is very powerful. Another is the one who just got like, this one. So that also was not that. Sri Ramakrishna tells one story that someone in the forest had brought all ingredients and was going to have a deep worship of God, to have realized the Divine Mother, to have her vision. And when he sat for that worship, suddenly a tiger comes and it takes away that person. Another person saw the tiger coming, was walking through this forest. He saw the tiger coming, he climbed the tree and he was saved. And after that he found that seat is ready, every worship is ready, and then he sat on that seat, and suddenly Divine Mother comes and says, "Child, what do you want? I am pleased with your worship." Then, without asking for some boon, the person was very surprised. He said, Mother, one who collected all the ingredients, worked so hard, was doing tapasya, when he sat for meditation, you just let him be killed by the tiger. Everything happens by your will. I did nothing, I just out of curiosity, I hear and you have come in front of me. Why this partiality? What is your way? I don't know. So Divine Mother said, my son, you don't know how many times in the past the tiger has eaten you. This is the one you see that you got the success now like this, but there have been lot of this before this happened. So that we don't know. That lot of things in the Ramana Maharshi's past must have happened. He must have practiced well. That's why that experience comes. Saint Paul, we don't know, it's not talked about, but there have been past stories. So without effort, that's why it's neither desirable nor it's possible. Self-effort is a must. Even if God gives you, that will be not just worth having it. So we have to even have realization, then we'll have to practice. Like Sri Ramakrishna says, some flowers are there where there is fruit first and flower later. So flower has to be there, even if fruit has come, flower has to come later on. So that we cannot escape. Effort is necessary. And about that story, Narada came and one person was doing lot of spiritual practice and austerity. He asked, when will I have vision of God? We were going to heaven and please ask God. So he said, okay, I'll go and ask. Another person was there and sitting, not doing much spiritual practice. He also wanted to have a vision of God and he said, when will I have a vision of God? You are going to heaven, Narada, can you ask? So Narada, after 1 year, Narada comes back and that man was still doing tapasya with lot of intensity. And he asked, how many we'll have to have, how many lives? So he said, 3 more lives we'll have to practice like this also. 3 more lives, he said, and he was very sad that after doing so much, God is not yet pleased. My time has not yet come. He was tired of spiritual practice. That another person who was not really practicing, he asked, how many lives I have to take to have God vision? So he says, oh, you have not practiced at all. This is the tamarind tree. There are leaflets on this tamarind tree. It's not only 5,000 years. As there are so many leaflets in a tamarind tree has very small leaflets. So many lives you have to be born and practice, and then only you will get salvation. It was a big ordeal like. Then that man started jumping with joy. Oh, ultimately I am going to have salvation. I am going to have vision of God. With this, seeing this positive, that thing, after he died in that very life, he was taken to God. That was the positivity of that, yes, hope that that person had, that importance of hope and positivity, and that I will do that thing. So that is a story that says.
That was a very good answer. I don't have much to add, just one little comment, that how can we quantify these things? How much practice, as if there is a promise given by God. If you do this much, then all will be gone. Is there a way that we can quantify this thing? It is ignorance, and ignorance, there is no quantity for ignorance, you see. I have got 5 pounds of ignorance and you have 20 pounds. How are we to measure, you see? How much is needed to be done? Who knows how much? Go on doing, that's it. How do you realize that it was not snake but rope? How long did it take for the snake to run away from there? The question is something like that. It comes to us because we are caught in this quantification. In this world, everything we try to quantify. How much money I have got, we start counting. There is a very nice little book, although it is said to be for children, it has such wonderful insights for the adults to understand this whole thing. The title of that book is Little Prince. A very beautiful, very poetic book. It ridicules this kind of counting. We feel we got a lot because we keep on counting. Meaningless really, but Since in this world here that we are caught in, we are habituated to counting. We are caught actually in counting and therefore try to quantify everything. But there is no quantification there. So you cannot say after how much quantity shall I get it. There is a price here for things, so we say that after paying this price, that we should get it. So how much I have to give to get God, as if it is something in the market that you can put $1,000. Not $1,000 I cannot buy, 2,000, 3,000. How much? Tell me the price. Can we do like that? I don't know. This question, therefore, really is like that of quantification. Is the quantification applicable at that level? There is no quantification there. So, how much? Please let us not ask this question. How much we will have to undergo? These nice stories are just to show how this quantification is not a point there at all.
We had a lively discussion, and I thought we had a good discussion. And most of the points that have been already covered were also discussed, I think, for us, with us. So I'll again, like others, bring out the main points. Firstly, there is one goal supreme. So we had some discussion about what do you mean by supreme. And then we thought maybe we should not be bogged down by terminologies, because different traditions in this world may have different approaches to this word supreme. So we should just let it go at that. And from Vedanta point of view, we perhaps know what is the supreme goal by now. So each person reaches it in different stages, the supreme goal. What is happening is maybe some people have to go step by step. Maybe others go by leaps and bounds. Maybe some get it in a flash like this. But this depends also on one's previous karmas, what they have achieved in previous lives. That's what Swamiji just now illustrated in one of his stories. And therefore they have accumulated great karmas, great wonderful karmas, which are bearing fruit in the present life in a flash. Some people are starting from scratch, perhaps. So there is no way one can compare one person from the other, how and when they will be achieving that goal. Now then, second point was we learn from each experience in each life. Experience of all good and bad things that happen to us. So the whole purpose, I think, of each life is, and I think we all agreed, is that we should learn from each experience, whether they are good experiences or bad experiences. And having learned it, we should let those experiences, we should let go of them, so that we do not get bound by those experiences or karmas. So this is a good practice also in our sadhana or our spiritual practice, to learn to let go. And this all requires, of course, self-effort and self-analysis. We have to cultivate certain things, of course, in our lives as we continue our sadhana. And as we go along, we also can learn to examine our own minds. And that is what is self-analysis. We are the witness of our own thoughts. And if we cultivate that, we can also chastise our own mind if we indulge in negativities. As Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. So we need to cultivate that, and this requires self-effort. And the other points that we could cultivate in our sadhana as we go along is cultivate love for God, which perhaps all this comes as we go along in our sadhana. And these inner yearnings for love God's love, and all this grows as we go along in our practices. One is, as I said, love of God and becoming a loving person. This also can be cultivated consciously, perhaps. I do not know. One has to perhaps discuss this point. And also, therefore, we get knowledge also the same way. Like somebody else also talked about perseverance, purity, and patience. All these can be cultivated in our regular practices. Then another thing, as somebody also said before, we should not harp on one's faults and defects and talk about it with others. That's what Swamiji discussed it earlier today, so that we just not ignore our defects, but we can examine them and learn from them and try to overcome them ourselves, or get the help of our guru or some person who can be an upguru, whom we trust and whom we can rely upon to give us very objective advice. I think that's what we did today. So the question was mainly, what is the supreme goal? Number one. Number two was, I think, can you think of anything? I don't remember. We just thought that we should not be bogged down by terminologies when we talk of supreme goals. Thank you.
Supreme goal, according to spirituality or different faiths, is what they expect human being to achieve at the highest in this life. In other religions, it is called liberation, emancipation. So that is the supreme goal. Liberation is the supreme goal. Salvation is the supreme goal. Emancipation is the supreme goal. What ultimately the highest what we can get in this life is the supreme goal. And in most of the faiths, it's after death we get the highest. We go to heaven. That is the supreme goal. Going to heaven is supreme goal according to some faiths. Vedanta says, okay, going to heaven and hell, you forget that. Making this life itself a heaven is the supreme goal, and that can happen if you have realized if you realize the ultimate truth, or realize yourself as the divine. That becomes, when you can do that, this life itself, this whole world itself becomes heaven. So making this world heaven is the supreme goal. And for that, you don't have to change the world, you change yourself, this very world becomes heaven. And that is called God realization, or knowledge of self. Thank you.
We first wanted to say that Swamiji's talk today, it didn't seem like he was an intellectual. It seemed like it really came from the heart. And he had a great eagerness to help the audience in a compassionate way. And we appreciated his real life examples presented to give the context, like the story about Swami Yogatmananda. And then we have 7 questions. Some of them may have already been answered. So I'm going to just skip the comments and go right to the questions. let's see. Someone who wants to do more work is likely to follow the path of karma yoga. Does that person have more rajas? And if so, does that rajas get in the way or is it useful?
Well, nothing can be guaranteed about it, that if a person is more suitable for karma yoga does not necessarily mean that he has more rajas than others. That is the path that is convenient, but for that person constitutionally suitable, but it does not automatically mean that that person has more rajas than others.
All the spiritual practices can be done when we are sattva. So even the karma yogi has to have more of sattva, otherwise it becomes, if it is more of rajas, it will be karma and it will be bondage. So karma yogi also has sattva like bhakti yogi. It's not that bhakti yogi will have tamas because he falls asleep during meditation. So that is not real bhakti yoga. When you fall asleep during, that's a tamas. So working only is rajas, but karma yoga is sattva.
Okay. The second question is, Swamiji said today that to overcome lust, Sri Ramakrishna says to repeat the name of God. Now, what if the person's problem is that they're trapped in laziness or don't have the energy to make an effort, or if the person is depressed?
So for laziness, Swami Yogatmananda very nicely described why we become lazy, because we don't find interest in that, and we don't find a challenge in that we should overcome. Because of lack of interest, we become lazy. If there is some challenge or interest, then we won't be lazy. So that was the answer.
Next one.
All right, we talked about the different yogas. Does it matter how long a person has been practicing spirituality as to which yoga it would be helpful for them to take up at which time?
So it's like morning and evening do concentration, or the dhyana yoga, and when it is other waking hours do karma yoga, and you practice bhakti yoga when you are praying. So like that, practice all the yoga different times of your waking hours. And bhakti yoga when you come to the shrine and try to pray to God and try to feel His presence and offer something when do worship, ritualistic worship, or otherwise you just pray to God. Bhakti yoga, and whole of a day should be either or other yoga. So karma yoga involves, because we work a lot and interact with this world, so most of the time it will be karma yoga doing, but all yogas combined together will take us towards that supreme goal.
Please don't follow my example. I choose to do karma yoga when there is no work to be done.
All right. How does a disciple know how to judge whether a guru has the qualities? Well, Swamiji said today that there were certain attributes of a guru and a student. And we were also discussing in the group that once you have a guru, the important thing is to surrender to the guru. And the statement was brought up that even if the guru goes to a grog shop, what matters is the disciple's trust in the guru, and the guru might get more out of the relationship. I mean, the disciple might get more out of the relationship than the guru. But the question comes, how does a disciple know how to judge whether a guru has the qualities that were mentioned?
The person whom you might choose to be a guru, you have to have first jailing with him. You have to like the person, and you have to feel that person is truthful, and that person has no any other motive than trying to make your life better by imparting the mantra. Moreover, there is no hidden any other interest, that you have to be sure that that person, I feel like making that person my guru. And how much that person is has the selfish motive, we can understand. So that's why before making any person a guru, you must judge that person. So not that you just make without understanding. But if my guru goes to grog shop, still my guru comes. When you have chosen a person to be a guru, then just don't leave him because of his something wrong or something. Finally, what happens? The guru, his person is not the guru. What is guru is the power that comes through that person is guru. Ultimate guru is God. So when that person imparted the mantra, that time really God came through him, and it was God inspiring that person, and he gave in his fullest of intensity that person gave mantra. After that, due to his samskaras, he might have changed, or she might have changed her life. So what you have got as mantra is actually the grace of God coming through that person. So you don't have to change the guru because of that. That's what Sri Ramakrishna always said, that once you choose a guru, his or she is lifetime guru. But before making someone guru, you can test, you can find out. And Sri Ramakrishna always encouraged testing the guru, whether he is a right person or not. So be confirmed and accept, and once you accept, it's forever. That's your guru, and you have to have that relation, guru and disciple relation. Swamiji.
All right. If some people want to pray or work more as a spiritual practice, is meditation for everyone, or would those other practices replace meditation for them?
Swami Vivekananda also said, and Virajananji also said, among all spiritual practices, meditation is very important. So those who pray, for them also meditation is very important, because meditation is the time when we really go deep into our mind and we can see our mind closest. Otherwise, we even don't understand what mind is thinking. So prayer helps in meditation. Prayer is very important, coming from the heart, and it's like conversing with our chosen ideal. We feel that we are close and we're talking. But that real prayer will help in meditation. So according to Vedanta, and our particularly the Vedanta as practiced by Ramakrishna Vivekananda, the meditation forms a very important part of spiritual practice. Although each of the yogas, even if you just pray, you can reach God. If you just don't meditate at all, you will reach God, because ultimately the absorption will come. You just work, karma yoga, you don't have pray or you don't meditate at all, you will reach the supreme goal. But according to our tradition, we must meditate, we must pray, we must work, and we must have other yoga also, jnana yoga, like they must do the reasoning, thoughts, or discernment between real and unreal. So this vichara, those all are part of the spiritual practice, and all needs to be done.
I had asked this question long back to a very senior Swami, and he didn't go much into this. He said that just examine what is making you ask this question, that it is your reluctance to meditate that is probably making you ask this question. So otherwise you wouldn't have asked this question. It is the reluctance to meditate, probably it means that you need it, and so and so you should do meditation.
Okay. If we're only supposed to talk about our weak points to our guru, can you talk about them to a therapist?
A guru is a spiritual therapist, if you want to use that term. That's it, Therapists are at different levels. You have therapists. So guru is a therapist for the spiritual malady. So you can, just as your physical problems, if you have, say, indigestion or fever or flu, you don't go to talk about it to psychotherapist. You go to the your medical therapist. So if you are suffering from something that you feel it is connected with your mind, then you go to psychotherapist, and many times psychotherapists send you to a neurologist, that maybe your problem is related to that, not really. So, but spiritual problem if something like what you are mentioning, you can call your guru a therapist, is a doctor for that problem. Yeah.
Not saying our weak points or our defects to others, the psychology is why we want to share with everyone, with our friends. Not because we'll remove those, but we seek sympathy from them. We'll seek support. Oh, no, it's not that. We want to hear in a different way. When I say, oh, I feel weak, that no, you are not really weak, you are strong. We want to hear those words. You are just, not that we are sharing in other way. Suppose it doesn't happen. Suppose they hear that and they say that, oh, that person is weak in that point, say to another friends. Then you will be suffering that, oh, you in confidence you told that friend, and that friend is telling to others that you have so many defects. And it goes what you didn't expect. So telling weak points to other friends, our friends, really won't help you at all. Rather, it may be detrimental. So understanding our own weakness and trying and praying to God, that will remove, and being aware of that and trying yourself to remove weak points. And weak points, all our weaknesses, all our defects are removable. Nothing is that will always remain with us. So with that faith in the inner strength of ours, where we can be really free from all blemishes by the grace of God, that much we have strength. With that we need to practice ourselves with prayer and strength, mental strength. That will go away.
Okay, and the last question is, someone mentioned that Swami Kripamayananda asked Sri Ramakrishna how to conquer lust, and Sri Ramakrishna answered, why do you want to get rid of lust? Direct it towards the Lord. So the question is, how does Swami Kripamanandaji's answer this morning to repeat the name of God to get rid of lust fit in with this?
Yes, it is. One factual discorrection is, it is about Swami Yogananda that Sri Ramakrishna told, take name of God, and so. But the two things are not really different. Turn your lust to spiritual life and take name of God. That is, taking name of God is for turning your attractions towards the spiritual life. So they are like complementary things, So not that which one should I do? Should I take the name of God or turn my lust to? You have to do both.
We just first went around the circle to see what was the thing that really impressed each of us most from the day's discussion. So one was. One person was very impressed with the qualities of a teacher and the qualities of a student. Those qualities that were listed, know the scriptures, be pure, and all those, and then the qualities of the student, desire to be fearless, reverence to the guru, sincerity, and the patience, perseverance, and purity. Then the one person's the thing that impressed him most was actually the title of the talk, towards the goal supreme, and he speculated on whether we really can keep reminding ourselves that this is really a goal that can be achieved. Is it really possible that we can realize God in this life? And I was reminded by what my guru Swami Adishwarananda had said, that you have to actually realize God yourself. Just listening to others and hearing scriptures and is really doesn't matter at all. What have you yourself experienced is what matters. That's the only thing that really matters, is what have you yourself experienced. And that led to us, one Satu saying that, well, the other thing that he said was, you don't worry about the supreme goal, worry about daily activities. Just the little things of daily activities need to be aligned with the goal. Start your day with reflecting on how I'm going to arrange my activities around this overall goal, and find time during the day to repeat, to do japam, to repeat your mantra, do little things on a regular basis, and then the goal will be automatically will come to you. The other point was that somebody made was that they like very much the idea of balance, victory or failure, be equanimous between the two, and remember that both happiness and misery are there, and think of it as mother is playing with you. There isn't any this distinction between them. Then one point that was that people were impressed with was the idea that you have to work hard, and only then the grace descends on you. It doesn't come if you haven't put in the effort first. And accompanying that was the idea of Swami Atulananda, that active life and meditation go together. That idea that you can't really that he was able to meditate better when he was working in the Shanti ashram than when later on he was living in the Belur Math. Now the questions. So one question was given the different that we talked today about the 4 yogas, but different gurus focus on different yogas. So for example, Swami, I forget the name of that Swami. Ramana Maharishi. He focused on jnana, almost exclusively, and others might focus on karma yoga and devotion. So, would there be a danger of getting confused if you listen to the teachings of these different teachers and they are emphasizing these different aspects? Would we get confused by that? Then a second question was, well, what does it mean when you say God is the guru? When we have not actually got any instructions from God directly, and so can you explain how is it that God is? What does it actually mean that God is the guru? And the third question is a sort of an age-old question, and about when you see a lot of evil in the world. There was this example was given of this medical student in India who was murdered on a bus, and which caused a lot of controversy all over India. She was attacked by some people, and so someone actually asked Swami about this, and how was that possible? And the answer that was given, we didn't feel was a very satisfactory answer. The answer was, well, it's karma, it's the theory of karma, that maybe, and we didn't feel that was a fair answer to say, well, someone had it coming because they did something in a previous life. But then another person in our group actually gave a very nice response and said, well, when we see something like that, what I focus on is what good came out of it. For example, in this example, a lot of good came out of it because there was a lot of discussion, a lot of new laws were passed to protect women. There was an outpouring of sympathy and love, and so she says that rather than focusing on the negative, we would focus on the good that came out of this incident. But nevertheless, the question remains, and thank you very much.
One should try to understand all these yogas. There is, even if there is the risk of confusion, it is better confusion than feeling that something that is not correct as the right thing. If I have a very wrong understanding and I am not confused about it at all, about the mistaken answer, confusion is a little better step than that. So it is like I am driving in the wrong direction. And then somebody told me, no, this is not the road. Then it is, I get confused, but it is a better confusion than going headlong into the wrong understanding. Second thing is that it is not really confusing at all if we understand that these paths are not mutually exclusive. It is, you never have any confusion if you ask me, are you sitting or talking? I am sitting and talking. Not that there is any confusion in that, are you sitting or talking? So it is not like that these paths are mutually exclusive. Somebody can be having, this path of knowledge, like Raman Maharshi emphasized path of knowledge. But if you look at the life, that he was constantly active as well. So there is not that there is any conflict in that. If you read Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga that we are going every Friday these days, you will see that so much of knowledge outpouring through that book. It is the discrimination and all that. So it is not that it is Karma Yoga is a cut and dried piece and no iota of knowledge would ever enter into it. No. Similarly, yoga of the devotion, it is also, there is a lot of that discernment comes into that. In fact, in Bhagavatam, therefore, it is told that the prime practices that are important for the yoga of knowledge, the discernment and dispassion, they were told to be the main supports of the sons of bhakti, the devotion. So, unless you have these two, and the devotion doesn't get encouraged or cultivated. So, these things are not contradictory. So, there should be no confusion really. If we are feeling confused whether this is right or that is right, excuse me, this was not part of confusion, it is, it is, then we should try to think, study and get that confusion resolved by some teacher or some authority on this.
Regarding why it's called that it's God that flows through Guru, because the power that is needed to transform a person, this power is not human power that comes through a mantra or through the Guru's instruction. That power is very powerful thing beyond human strength. So that has to be God's power which can really change a whole human life, transform human character. So that has to come from God. After all, God is not only our goal, He is our nourisher, He also takes care, and He is also our way. That's why Jesus said, I am the way. God is the way and also the goal. That's why this is said that whatever the power, spiritual power comes through the Guru is the power of God, because that is so strong that it can change our life. And it said Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. It's all about the Guru power that is being said, because the human being through which it comes may be frail, maybe he may be weak, maybe he may be not that. How can you can say the human being like he is Brahma, he is Guru, he is Vishnu, he is Supreme God, that we cannot think of. But the power that comes through him or her is really the power of God, and that power is the Supreme God. That's that way it is said. This God that comes through Guru, when we have the moment when the Guru gives us initiation, and other times also when this is how every human being, when they do some positive work, they say this love that comes, unselfish love that comes from every human being is God. Swami Vivekananda said unselfishness is God. Whenever there is explanation or manifestation of unselfishness in any one of us, it is not us, it is God coming through us. So God is revealed in act of common human being. That's why when Guru imparts the knowledge, it becomes the power of God that flows through him or her.
Well, the third question, instead of focusing on one event, an event stirs lot of thinking of in general human suffering. Why a particular person suffers more than some others at one given time, and we really do not have any satisfactory answer to this question right from the beginning of time. That why this happens, do we have any answer? Of course, that answer smacks of insensitivity, that it is the karma of that person. But leave it out. But do we have any answer for that, why people suffer in this world? There is no answer to it. And why at one given point a person suffers more than some other person? Do we know any answer for that? We really do not have an answer for that. And that is, when saying that is that person's karma, is only another way of saying that I don't have the answer. It is like sometimes the physicians say, one doctor told me in a jest, but it also underscores that it is viral infection, means I don't know what infection it is, so I say it is viral infection. So it is, that is karma. It is not to gloss over that or not to support that kind of thing. The response should be always compassion. Compassion and how remedy could be applied, rather than why it happened. Why it happened, that question really does not have any answer. But the other thing can be done, that what can be done to make things better. It is certain points that bring up a lot of anger, a lot of these emotions flare up, and then there is not much scope to think and reason, and so the answers, we keep on only asking questions, why this happened. Not only this was a big issue that just went all over the world, it was discussed, but even the minor things, that why this happened to me. One lady was asking me some minor thing, that why me? Why not others? Why this misfortune fell on me? Do we have an answer? Or anybody, let not me, anybody has an answer except say that saying that no, I don't know. Instead of saying I don't know, we say that it is probably your karma. What can be said? It is not to be insensitive, but to show that, well, we don't have any answer to it right from the beginning of the time this question has been asked. And there is really no answer found. Sri Ramakrishna told one that answer, that this was being discussed, and then one devotee there, Kedar, told the meeting that, when that compassionate God, in spite of being compassionate, decided to keep misery in the world, in that meeting I was absent, so I don't know. Although this answer has a little humor to it, it is very philosophical answer, that these are not within the realm of our intellectual understanding. That is what he meant by saying that I was absent there, as if any of us was present. So it is like that. There is no answer. We feel that every single problem should have an intellectual answer. That is something that is not right. Every problem need not be within the realm of our intellectual solution. And so therefore, but other thing we can do, that how can we, within our powers, bring some possible remedy to it.